Kicking off with the weekend vibes. Fins talk, we go live. Bobby fans and Fish Tank Hank. Miami Dolphins, we got your back. Saturday noon is the place to be. Catching Dolphins talking fantasy. From the field to the fan debate. Fins talk today, don't be late. Fins up, we ride until the end. With Bobby and Hank, they're your best friends. Podcast popping every week, no delay. Join the crew, Fins talk today. Live chatting, stats so prime. Miami hustle all the time. News and views will pave the way. Dive on in, it's Fins talk today. Top plays and what went wrong. Breaking down each game so strong. Fans united, feel the beat. Fins talk, family can't be beat. Fins up, we ride until the end. With Bobby and Hank, they're your best friends. Podcast popping every week, no delay. Join the crew, Fins talk today. Fins up, we ride until the end. With
Bobby and Hank, they're your... Hello, everybody.
Hey.
Happy Saturday, and welcome to another fantastic episode of Fins Talk today on FTSN. I'm Bobby Fins Talk, joined always by the man, the myth, the legend, Fish Tank Hank. What's up, Fish Tank?
At least I'm the man, the myth, the legend in my own mind, right?
And that's
Hey.
okay.
Exciting news, Bobby. I sold my place in Orlando, and toward the end of next month, I'm moving down to Plantation, Florida. So I'm going to be 30 minutes from the stadium and 30 minutes from the beach. Perfect.
That is perfect. Right there in the neck of the woods, down there near the Dolphins, near the Panthers. You're going to be involved in everything now.
Yeah.
We call you Cat Cage Hank soon when you start covering the Panthers too. Instead of Fish
Either
Tank.
that or 305.
There you go. That's right. That's right. So, and now when I go to visit the family down in Miami, you're right around the corner too. So that'll be
Fish
really
Tank
cool.
305 Hank.
There you go. There you go. Fish Tank Hank has a better ring to it, so we'll probably stick with it. But excited for today's episode. A lot to talk about.
Yeah.
And there's always a lot to talk about Miami, but obviously
Definitely.
last weekend we didn't get to do a show. I was dealing with some storms up here, and I just had to be paying attention to what was going on with the weather and the warnings and whatever. So Hank, thank you for being so gracious and allowing me to do that, because I was like, hey, would you mind? I'm gonna have to push, and you're like, no, and I'll tell you that morning my daughter and I were outside, and we were like, let's watch this next wave of storms come by, because it wasn't like a tornado warning storm. So her and I went outside. I was drinking my coffee. She made herself a coffee, and we were talking, and it was raining, it was heavy, and it was windy, and you could hear, and she goes, Dad, what if I went out in the rain right now and went like that? And I said, honestly, in a normal situation, I said, I wouldn't mind you going out there dancing in the rain. YOLO, you only live once, but not with this type of storm, because, you'll bzz, 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 and she started laughing. And all of a sudden we saw like a flash further away, and in maybe 4 seconds it boomed. And so she was, oh, that was loud. I said, actually, there's this thing. If you count down 1, 2, 3, and you hear the boom, that's usually how far it's at. And as soon as I said that, right next to us, you hear it go bzz, bzz, lightning, boom. We went, oh, I'm gonna get in the house. It's like right there. So that was the event for us. But thank goodness, thank God, nothing severe our way. But anyway, man,
there
was a lot
back a few days when you said that. Thank goodness, because I was thinking, thank goodness for Chef Boyardee.
That's right. There you go. A flashback for you. But it was a lot to talk about last week. There's a lot more to talk about this week.
Yes, sir.
Tank. So let me go ahead and we'll get this ball rolling. Let's see here.
Let me see what I can do on my end in the meantime.
Yes, and then full disclosure, Fish Tank has had some issues with his connection, but he is here, and if he pops out, I'll stick around. He'll come back in, and we do have Finstanza in the background somewhere.
He's in standby mode.
He's in standby. If Fish Tank completely goes, that's right. If Fish Tank goes completely out, Finstanza's ready to go. But the moves made so far by the Miami Dolphins, I'll just run through them, Fish Tank, and I
Yeah.
discussed them a few times throughout the week. I was on with Steve Malloy the week before. Of course, my shows last week, you and I did not get to talk about it. I know you haven't, so I'm going to let you roll with it once I get through the names. But here's what Miami's done so far. Okay. Let's just get through the early ones, which we have discussed, but we know they've signed Zach Wilson as formerly of the Denver Broncos, the quarterback. James Daniels, offensive guard. Larry Borum, offensive lineman. Safety out of Detroit, Afatu Melifonwu. Nick Westbrook, the wide receiver, 6'2". Ashton Davis, the safety from the Jets. KJ Britt, the linebacker. Running back Alexander Mattinson. Pharaoh Brown, the tight end from Seattle. Punter Ryan Stonehouse. Linebacker Willie Gay. They've re-signed Matt Dickerson and D-tackle Benito Jones. Quentin Bell, Elijah Campbell, Jackson Carman, wide receiver D. Eskridge, and Liam Eichenberg. So Miami, with as much money as they had, which is very, very little, they've made some moves. They've by moves I mean signings. I'm not saying moves by oh my god, unbelievable moves, but Fish Tank, nothing that screams, oh my gosh, this is amazing. This guy's a game changer. But how do you feel about this draft class? I mean, this free agency class so far for Miami?
Well, you got to admit, Greer's hands were tied as far as finances go. His hands were tied in the beginning, but we'll be able to do some good work after the draft. We're still going to have that second wave. And I think that's when Greer's going to actually get busy and fill those slots as we determine and weed through these people that we've picked up that might or might not make the team. Because some of them are kind of maybe not making the team. Benito Jones, he's been in and out of playing, kind of plays, doesn't play, plays, he hasn't been consistent, but I like the pickup. I like having him on the team. Eichenberg, I didn't understand that move, but I guess if you need a backup center, you don't have to draft a center. I would say if you keep him, because he'll be your backup center. I would hate to have him as a backup guard, to be totally honest with you. I mean, he's useless. So I'm surprised with that signing, and it upset some people on the internet, but it is what it is. They feel like they can still get some kind of performance out of him. Maybe they will. Maybe they'll just use him, like I said, as a backup. I don't know, but I hope that Greer starts to do something other than what he's done thus far.
I like what Evan just posted there, and I appreciate him throwing that in there. But Eichenberg at $2 million is livable as your 8th or 9th guy,
Yes.
And I know Eichenberg, you hit the nail on the head. It roughed people up a little bit online and on the shows, and so I understand that everybody kind of went, oh, "What?" I know Evan called me. I thought they restructured, and I nothing, So, but when Evan called me, Evan was like, "I was hanging out with the kids at Chuck E. Cheese," and he goes, did you see the news? And I'm like, no, I haven't seen the news, Evan. He goes, what could the Dolphins have done that they should not do whatsoever? Something like that. And I go, don't tell me they restructured to his deal. He goes, no. I went, oh, okay. And he goes, they signed Eichenberg back. And I went, okay. I was like, okay. But
not the worst thing that could happen, because that gives us a backup center.
Yeah. And Evan right here, every signing for the Dolphins will be scrutinized because our fan base is bipolar. Everything's under a microscope. Every little move and Nick and Nanny, and I get it. My thing with the Eichenberg situation, re-signing him, his familiarity with the offense, with Mike McDaniel's familiarity with him. He does have starting experience. I know what Miami's going to say is starting experience. He has experience in this offense. And like you said, Fish Tank, you said, he could play at center, you could plug him in at guard, he's done every position. So I guess that offers him some, job security, obviously.
Well, the best way for me Bobby, I don't mean to interrupt
No,
you,
you're good.
but Eichenberg can fill a hole for a temporary, just so we don't have to go get somebody. And he didn't totally suck as a center like he does as a guard, in my opinion. I mean, I think he's horrible at guard, but I think he's a viable backup at center. And currently, we don't have anybody. So I guess we have him now. That's all
Well,
I
and,
wanted
and
to
like
say.
in right there, it alleviates that dire need,
Yes. And we have a lot of picks, Bobby.
We do. The versatility tag is garbage, in my opinion. He's terrible at every position. Let me go ahead. I want
Well,
to make
like I
sure.
said, I don't think he was that bad. He wasn't great, but he wasn't too bad at center. That's the only reason I could possibly see they kept him, so they don't have to get another center.
Okay, no, that's not going to work. Yeah, I'm with you. Can't compare backup QB to backup left guard. So, which free agent side? So obviously, the Eichenberg made you scratch your head. The Eichenberg move made you scratch your head. What are who's the one that made you kind of pucker up a little bit, like, oh, I like that? Obviously, I would think probably left guard, but is there any other move that may have made you get excited? Or excuse me, James Daniels, the guard. He'd probably play at right guard.
Yeah, I like the guard. Like you said, I've been thumping on the table for the line for almost 20 years now. I am not fading off that till I see improvement. And signing anybody on that line makes me happy.
Yeah, I'm with you. I mean, as long as you address the offensive
Don't
line,
get all choked up on me about it.
I know. No, I will tell you.
Too.
I appreciate it. I will say, look, the one thing I will say about Miami, these are the couple things I'll say about their free agency. They're addressing needs as they go in free agency, which is huge for me. They still have to address the defensive back position. We got to see what happens with Calais Campbell. If he doesn't resign or he retires, then you got to address that. But I'll tell you, the tagline I had for this free agency class is low risk, high reward. That's how I feel about this free agency class.
Really?
Nick Westbrook, I like a lot. The wide receiver out of Tennessee. I mean, my goodness, 9 touchdowns, 400 some yards, only on 30 some odd receptions. He led the league in yards per catch, with the most yards per catch. But I think he's going to add something to this offense. I think that's probably your most under the radar signing by the Dolphins.
Statures?
Westbrook, 6'2", 200 and I think 11 pounds. If somebody could pull that up for me.
Okay, 210 or so, yeah.
I think that's where he's at. I think what he's at. But I actually first up, and I've heard an A-class human being, a good guy, somebody from my job, because I live here in Tennessee,
How's
told me
speed? Because our offense is built off speed.
I'm not sure. I would assume that if they got him, he fits with what they're looking for. But we've been talking about how much Miami needs a red zone threat. They didn't have that. They had Jonnu last year, but this guy offers you that. I mean, 9 touchdowns is ridiculous, especially with as much. And I will tell you something. Here's what you need to know. Tennessee fans were pissed that they lost him. They were pissed. I had a lot of people tell me we could have lost anybody. But and they said, look what he did with Will Levis and then what they with that quarterback situation. So they were pissed.
True.
And he's a good character, human being. One of the guys at my job said they have a man group, and I think Bob said I don't know what they would do, but he said, man, he's one of my dear. He's a good friend and he's a good guy. And I was like, that's cool. I appreciate you telling me that. So I'm excited about Westbrook. Pharaoh Brown, more of a blocking tight end. That I've heard some good things about that. Dave Stager last night on the check down complimented that signing. He actually liked Miami's free agency class right now. And Stager, who's a Packers fan, is not he doesn't sugarcoat anything with Miami. He'll tell you if it sucks and everything else. But he's like, hey, I'm gonna be honest. He said, on the show, I'm paraphrasing but he's like, I like what they've done with what they've had. He goes, he likes Melifonwu, who has injury history in Detroit. He says that's an under the radar signing. If he could stay healthy, which is always with Miami, he goes, I like that. There you go, Fish Tank, 6'2", 211. That's exactly so what I thought he was. So, but yeah, Willie Gay. Chief fans were not happy about that. They wanted Willie Gay to come back.
Willie Gay was the other one that I liked.
Yeah, I like that. I know Evan was very happy about Stonehouse because I know he wants to get rid of Jake Bailey, and we signed Ryan Stonehouse, another Tennessee Titan, and that was a good one.
Hey, Bobby, I think you have me at a disadvantage this time.
Why? What happened?
I have been so busy. I haven't been on the simulator, so you have me at a disadvantage today.
Oh, you mean okay, I got you. Well, first off, here's the advantage. Here's the advantage for you, Fish Tank, is that we know what we signed so far. And actually, let's get to that actually in regards of where Miami stands, right? Because when we start
I've been busy and I bought one house in a day and sold the other one in the same day.
You've been very busy. I think so. What you're saying is when you lose today,
yes,
okay, I got you.
Is after I lose,
it's okay. It's all
I have
good.
an excuse.
You go. You got it. Miami's needs when we started this is, obviously offensive guard, swing tackle, safety, D lineman, linebacker, big bodied receiver, a blocking tight end. That's basically where it was at. QB2, obviously. And so far, Miami has filled some of those needs up. That doesn't mean, though, that they won't target those positions in the draft. It just means they have the flexibility to pass on those positions to go after a player maybe better at BPA at 13 or whatever. But the needs that are dire right now for Miami that they have not really addressed, that could be the pick at 13, Fish Tank, for me, and you can tell me if I'm wrong. If Calais Campbell does not come back, defensive line is right there. It's 1A, 1B, whatever you want to do, D tackle. Obviously, you got Mason Graham, you got Stewart, you got Grant. There's a few names on there that you could be a good name at 13. Another position that Miami absolutely has to address, because right now, next to Jalen Ramsey at corner, it's Kader Kohu, Storm Duck, Cam Smith. And Cam Smith, I mean, who is he? Where is he? What's going on with him? We don't know. But Miami corner is a dire need for Miami. And there are some corners. There's two for sure that I would be very happy with if we took at 13. Will Johnson out of Michigan, 6'2", 194. I mean, this guy, Fish Tank, watching him, obviously he's a superstar D-back in college. He was a national champion, MVP, good numbers. He's patient in coverage, great ball skills, intelligent player, great size at 6'2", 194. And what I saw when I was watching film, Fish Tank, he's quarterbacks seem to stay away from him. They're always shooting at the other side of the field. Another corner that is that could be available at 13 for Miami, who I like a lot. He's not 6'2". I love the size of Will Johnson. Is Jade Barron out of Texas. He's 5'11", 194, violent tackler, high-end motor, elite processor of plays, seems to know what the route is before the receiver breaks into it. He's great route recognition. He's a lurker with great ball skills. He's a physical DB. And what do you
think about Siobhan Revel?
I don't know if for Siobhan Revel, I don't know.
East Carolina.
Yeah, the corner out of East Carolina. I think if that's a possible trade down option for me, at least. If we're trading down, then you can consider him. But Will Johnson and Jade Barron at 13 right now would be guys that I would consider if Miami doesn't address the corner in the draft. I mean, in free agency before we get there. Let me read the comments. Forgive me, guys. I haven't seen the comments
how much Greer loves drafting corners. So guess what?
Let's see here. Evan is going off on, not going off, but talking about H-in again, calling him mid. So just blasphemy. See, we better not draft a pure guard at 13. So that's the thing, right? So 13 is a very lucky number, right? Especially Miami. You got Dan Marino. Christian Wilkins, Laramie Tunsil, all taken at 13 for Miami.
Fish Tank
Dan
Hank.
Marino was the number, but
Fish Tank Hank.
Yeah, Fish Tank Hank. What about it?
13.
Oh,
Both my
really?
parents were born on the 13th.
There you go. There you go.
It's always been a lucky number for me.
So Miami can't go wrong there. I mean, offensive line obviously is a need, right? You still need a starting quality left guard.
Yeah.
You need you need a guard, right? But do you go Tyler Booker there? I don't know.
I don't know either.
I think there'd be a guy at 48 that you could plug and play. I won't be mad because again, it's a starting quality guy, and I'm cool with starters. But I mean, BPA, are you really going to pass up on a Will Johnson or Amin-Rari, the safety, which I think safety still could be a pick at 13, and I'm not against that whatsoever, especially with Amin-Rari. You pass up on an Ashton Genty or whomever for a Booker.
So you don't like Malik Starks as much anymore?
I don't have no issue with Malachi. I have no issue with. I don't mind Malachi. I mean, he had a great pro day. I like him a lot. I like what he's done, but I am a fan of Amin-Rari over Starks. I like Starks. If we took Starks, I'm happy. I love what I've seen from him, but I really like what I've seen from Amin-Rari, and I love his size. You know what I mean? I'm a big on size, but it's just going to be it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting to see where they go. So free agency.
Yes, sir.
Where is Miami currently at cap space? Well, Spotrac has it
$5.
Yeah. Spotrac basically. Spotrac has it at $7,709,683. So 7.7 million in cap left for the Miami Dolphins. So could they wiggle their way and get a couple more guys or a guy for cheap? Possibly. They could still do some restructuring. Obviously, the big restructure, which would free you up about 19 million, I think, is Tua Tagovailoa. You could restructure his deal. Only issue with that, major issue, of course, is then now you're locked into him basically for 2 to 3 more seasons. Where if you keep him as is, you have an out after next season. What you could do also, of course, you could restructure Zach Zealer. I think they just restructured Austin Jackson that freed up a little bit of money last week. So there's some small restructures that you could do that could free up space because you still have to sign your rookies. And, if you could go in and sign some free agents, I thought I had my list here with who's remaining, but it seems to has disappeared from my desk. Well, with who's remaining free agents, but go ahead.
Let me say something while you think. Tua, as far as Tua's contract and redoing that goes, we're going to have Tua next year anyway. Whether we get a rookie quarterback or not, he'll be there next year. So I mean, you're not going to just drop him off and get rid of him even if we pick the top quarterback coming out in next year's draft. Okay, we're still going to have Tua as a backup. They would still use him as a backup and keep him there during that first year. I truly believe that. So redo his contract if he gets next year again. That's fine with me. I wouldn't have a problem with it.
There you go. If Evan says if you extend Tua, Graham McDaniel are going nowhere, and Ross blessed it. Scotty says if they were going to restructure Tua, they would have done that by now. I think his restructure is safe. So we'll just wait and see. But with 7.7 million right now for Miami, very little they could do left, but money is still there. Obviously, again, I think they will end up restructuring a couple more deals just to free up a little bit more money, and maybe not to sign anybody, but to sign their free agent, to sign their draft picks. And then you're looking at unrestricted free agency or undrafted free agents, and then possibly the third wave of post-draft free agency, which a lot of the guys you think might be a lot more money, you're going to get for a lot cheaper. So I don't think a lot of people are thinking about that when they're looking at this free agency class. Obviously you got to allow the process to play out, but a lot of, Miami's offseason is not going to be over anytime soon. I think you might see them a little more active post-draft with some of the veterans that they could sign, and we'll
That
see how it
sounds familiar, Bobby,
does. It what
because I
is that? What?
said that.
Oh, did you? I didn't know. I didn't remember. But it's
I
all
said
it's
we're still going to be doing a lot after. That's when Greer does his best work. That he didn't have any money and his hands were tied pre-draft.
absolutely, absolutely. So let's talk about that. We kind of did, so we don't spend too much time. But I'll ask you, Fish Tank, with the
Yes,
moves
sir.
that Miami has made so far, and the positions that they've addressed so far. Where do you feel in your heart of hearts? You don't have to do this in your mock. You can go any way you want, but in your heart of hearts, what positions could be the pick at 13?
Well, I mean, if I'm looking at the team, it's guard, defensive tackle, and cornerback are the most important for me. Because the hardest position to fill is quarterback, and the second hardest position to fill properly is cornerback. And both have big impacts on the game. So that's my opinion. So we have a quarterback. We're not getting rid of our quarterback until next year, maybe. And that's only if we get a top draft pick. So I really think that Miami has an opportunity. Miami has a big opportunity to do a lot in a short period of time. And I forgot my train of thought now. Uh-oh.
Oh, you're good. I think you were hitting the nails on the head. I will say for Miami, I'm with you. I think obviously offensive line, a versatile
Yes,
offensive lineman, corner
that's
for
where I
sure,
was.
uh,
Defensive
defensive
lineman,
tackle,
cornerback.
defensive line, and don't sleep.
But
I know Evan brought it up. Don't sleep on edge rusher.
if you ask me who I would want them to pick, even though those are our needs, I would want them to pick Tyler Warren,
Tight end out of Penn State.
tight end.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why. Miami has done so much building for this offensive line in its talent positions, wide receivers, running backs, quarterback. They've tried to do everything they can at the talent position. The only position on the offense that they haven't really beefed is the tight end. And if you get a two tight end set going with Jonnu Smith and then these wide receivers, forget about it. Forget about it. He would completely change how Miami attacks the field. He would completely change it in every way. Yeah, I've said this before, but I really don't understand where you would be able to cover all those people. It's just mind bending if he was on the team to me. I think he'd be the best pick for the Miami Dolphins.
There you
But the
go.
question is, will he be there? You know what I mean? And then,
Yeah.
all the questions are there. Who's going to be there and this and that. And, um, like you said, you talked about Graham. I don't think Graham will be there, though. I think Graham will get picked up before we get an opportunity to even mess with him. But he might be there. I think Graham's a great player, just like Tyler Warren. I'd love to see
Hey,
either one of them
if any
on
of
the
those
team.
guys are at 13, you have to consider them. There are guys that you
Yeah.
might go, man, do we really need a tight end? We got Jenna. It's like, yeah, you know what? We could use another tight end, but how do you pass up on a talent like that? You should absolutely consider. And that's why I think free agency should be about
BPA.
addressing needs, and draft should be BPA, especially with your first pick.
If
G
he's
says
sitting
deep.
there, if he's sitting on the board, and
Yeah.
we have 13 and above sitting on the board, and he's still at the board on the board at 13 instead of somebody like Banks or somebody like that, Miami would be foolish not to take him. They'd be foolish not to take him. I
Yeah.
mean, you've mentioned other people though, Harmon, Eamon Warrow. I don't know how to
Yeah.
say
I'm in worry. Yeah. I'm in worry. Yeah.
Eamon Worry. Those people, if they're there, then they have a hard choice to make. They're going to have a hard decision, I think, either way. But I really like Tyler Warren out of all the
I have no
current.
issue. I have no issue with that whatsoever. And I'll tell you what, the other there's a few tight ends in this class that are really good. I like Harold Fannin Jr. I think out of Bowling Green. I think that's where he is. I like him a lot. But I'm not against that. I again, Cap for life. What's up, brother? DB G says DB has to be the pick. Safety's preferred. Again, I'm corner obviously is a dire need for Miami, but I'm not against a safety at 13. You know, Hank bringing up Malachi Starks, but Nick Amenrari from South Carolina, man, let me tell you, that dude is legit. And but Will Johnson out of Michigan, Jade Barron out of Texas, those are guys that if you pick them at 13, you're not doing wrong. Those are legit dudes, man. But Nick Amenrari, is springing up in right now, Fish Tank. I like him a lot. I love what I've seen on film from him. But we'll go ahead and continue this. We'll get into our Dolphins mock, and we'll talk about one of our own in the Dolphins community. Bring that up. So stick with us here, guys. So
I would have to say, though, for this
Yeah.
year, Bobby, Tyler Warren is my pee my pants if Miami picks him.
You'll be off the chain for him, right?
I'll have to put adult diapers on during the draft. How's that?
Oh my goodness.
If he's
Oh
sitting
my
there and we have
goodness.
pick 13, I don't know. I'm going to go crazy because they typically don't pick who I want. So, you know. So I hope that it works out, but we'll see.
We will see.
He's got
We
the
will
machine
see.
on me.
We got it. We got it. Forgive me for the comments, guys. I can't see them, so I can just make sure everything is working here. Of course, we're using the Pro Football and Sports Network mock draft simulator. Guys, if you haven't yet, if you love doing the draft and everything, they are awesome. So shout out to them and the work they do there. So I'll let Fish Tank get prepared. And
I'm prepared now.
You are? Okay. All right. So Fish Tank, how do you want to
glasses on, Bobby?
There you go. You are good to go.
Gotta move right along. I'm ready.
All right, Fish Tank. Rules. How do you want to do this? Do you want to do a couple trades and then stop the trading after a certain round, or do you want to just no trades today?
No trades. Let's just go right into it. No trades and
awesome.
And see what we can come up with off of our own knuckleheads.
Love it. Let's do it. Okay. Fish Tank, since you got your glasses on, would you like to go first?
Yes, it's my turn to go first, Bobby.
All right, here we go. Fish Tank Hank has the board. We'll go ahead. Miami, of course, with the 13th pick. We'll let it play out.
Come on, give me the guy I want.
All right.
That's not the guy I wanted.
He's there.
Yes, he is, but I got to look, though.
Yes, you do.
Yeah, I want him. Tyler Warren.
Tyler Warren. Off the board, tight end to the Miami Dolphins. Fish Tank Hank's first pick.
A dual threat tight end on the Miami Dolphins. Yes, I will take some of that all day long.
You got some good names right there, Fish Tank.
Yeah,
really good names.
Oh, wow.
You got Kenneth Jackson. Grant, obviously, right? We don't know what's going to happen with Calais Campbell. Armarian Hamilton, who had a killer scouting combine that lit up Mike McDaniel and company. Cameron Williams, who could play guard and tackle. Jalen Milroe, but what he did at his pro day was ridiculous. There's a few names on there. Jackson Dart's probably going to jump into the first round. So will Milroe, maybe till the top of the second round. But there are some names there, Fish Tank. Anybody catching your eye?
I would have to. Donovan Jackson's the one catching my eye right now. I know Grant is a better player though, and he's sitting at BPA, so I'd have to go with Grant just based on BPA alone.
There you go. I like it. I actually would do the same as you right at that point. Have to.
Yeah, I wouldn't pass on him. That's hard to pass on that.
All right. So now this is where we're at. So you've addressed tight end and D tackle. Holland Pierce. I have not watched much film. I've just been reading up on him, but I think he's like 6'7". He's a big boy, that guy right there. 6'8", 341 on here. But any position particular you want me to look at, Fish Tank?
No, I'm actually can you scroll it a little bit? It takes a little time for mine to catch up to our scroll, so give me a second, please. Let's see. I want to go with Jonas Sanker, safety out of Virginia.
All right, going safety there.
Yes.
All right.
I wanted to go corner, but I didn't see who I wanted, so. Are we scrolled back?
We're back at the top here at 116. So far, just as Hank looks at that list, we got Tyler Warren at 13, Kenneth Grant at 48, and then Jonas Sanker at 98.
I'm going to go with Jordan Hancock, corner out of Ohio State.
Here you go. Let's see. 6 feet, 195 pounds, fluid and instinctive corner who excels at both man and zone coverage. So there you go.
Bang. That's a nice pickup. I like that. Now let's take a deep look. You know, I really like got to be Danny Stutzman.
Linebacker Danny Stutzman out of Oklahoma. Yep, there he is. Okay.
Got to be. Okay. Scroll down a little, Bobby, please. There he is, Luke Kendra. Kendra, however you'd like to say it.
You want to go Kendra here?
Yep.
All right. Still on the board here.
Yes, he is. And now we can scroll back up because you know what I'm going to do now.
What do you got?
I'm going with BPA.
Howard Cross the third.
Yes, sir.
I like that. I like it.
That D line is stout right now.
Yeah, I like Howard Cross. That's somebody who could be a good late round pickup for Miami. There's Evans guy, but you went with the Tyler Warren in the first, but Jackson Hawes is somebody Evan is banging the table for later in the draft. He's not a great pass catcher, but as a blocker, he is one of the elite guys there.
Oh, yeah. Well, I hate to disappoint Evan and all, but
it's your draft.
Give me Joshua Gray.
There you go.
I don't mind disappointing him. Trust me.
Who do you got now?
He would disappoint me and not have a problem. No, I'm just kidding. I want Antoine Wells Jr., wide receiver out of Ole Miss.
All right.
Yeah. Take a look at his chart.
I'll look it up right now. Is a dynamic and versatile wide receiver known for his physicality and playmaking ability.
Yeah. Yeah, I like him because he's an effective deep threat. I'm surprised he was sitting there, but that's all right. I'll take him. I think Stackhouse there, and I already picked. Okay. Just grab me the best OT on there. I can't read it. I think it's Brandon, right?
Offensive tackle out of Florida, Brandon Crenshaw Dixon.
Yes, sir.
All right. So there you go, Fish Tank. Fish Tank goes Tyler Warren at 13 out of Penn State, the tight end. At 48 goes Kenneth Grant. So you fill up Calais Campbell's spot if he does not return. Goes safety at 98 with Jonas Sanker out of Virginia. Jordan Hancock, Ohio State corner at 116. 135, Danny Stutzman, the linebacker out of Oklahoma. Goes O-line at 150 with Luke Kendra. Goes back to D tackle, Notre Dame, Howard Cross, the third. Goes O-line again at 224 with Joshua Gray. Goes wide receiver with Antoine Wells Jr. out of Ole Miss. And then finishes the draft with an offensive lineman out of Florida, Brandon Crenshaw Dixon.
I really like Wells Jr. in the late rounds. I just read up on him a bit. I haven't done a lot of research or whatever on players, but I read up on him and I just liked what I read. So that's obviously someone else's opinion. So I haven't really looked at what he does, but he sounds like a great player.
There you go. There you go. And for guys, forgive me, I haven't seen the comments. Let me go ahead and take a peek at that before I go on to mine. And Cap, Jets have a couple meetings set up with Tyler Warren. Scotty says Hank's draft means Eichenberg is our starting left guard. Cap for life says get Arroyo or Martinez from the U. So there you go. All right. We'll go ahead and restart this and no trades. Gonna go with Fish Tank's philosophy on that.
Eichenberg is our starting left guard.
Yes. Hey, we don't know what happens post draft. Could sign it, so maybe something happened. I don't know. But here we go. Cam Ward went with the first pick in your draft. Abdul Carter went with the first pick in mine. So pretty cool. So let me just take a look here very quick. Will Johnson went at 5. Interesting. All right. Okay. So here's where I'm at. I know I'm going DB here. There's 3 DBs that I like. Obviously, Malachi Starks, Nick Amonrari, and Jedi Byrne. Miami signed 2 safeties. Melifonwu and Ashton Davis. Does that mean they're set at safety? Absolutely not. Ashton Davis has an injury. Melifonwu has an injury history. Ashton Davis can get burnt a lot. It's a good depth signing. Yeah. So I know Miami's met with Amonrari. I would not hate Amonrari or Jedi Barron here at all, because Will Johnson's off the board. But I'm going to go Amonrari. I'm going to go Amonrari, the safety out of South Carolina. That's where I'm rolling with that pick.
Yeah, I knew you was going to go there. You were sweet on him before you started the draft.
And what's crazy, first off, Xavier Watts being there. See, I could go corner at the first pick. I could have gone Jedi Barron, and you get Xavier Watts in the round 2 at 48, and you're just as fine. And I'm not saying Xavier Watts is as good as Amonrari, but Xavier Watts is a ball hawk. I like that guy out of Notre Dame. All right, here I go. So, pick 48. I went defensive back. All right. There's a few good names on here, obviously. Harold Fannin Jr., Cameron Williams out of Texas, Savannah from Arizona. And that dude is one of my favorite players. He could play guard. He could play tackle. I'm all about that. So I'm going offensive line here, and I'm going to go with the kid out of Arizona, Jonah Savannah. I'm going to butcher that last name, but that's what I do best.
Definitely.
That's why my wife fell in love with me, because I butcher names. Just hope everybody knows that.
Hey, I told you I'm the best at butchering somebody's name. D-A-N, Nad.
That's right. So let's see here. So went offensive line, went safety. Do I want to wait on this? I may not. I may go there. But let's see. No, I'm not. I'm going to go D tackle here. I'm going to pretend that Calais Campbell, even if he does come back, even if he does, it's for at least a year, right? So we got to think about the future as well. So I think Shamar Turner here from Texas A&M is a good pickup here for your defensive line, but also for the future. So I'm going to roll with that, and we'll go from there. Now,
Bobby,
Yeah.
I think you're already ahead of me on this one.
You think so? I don't know.
Yeah. I missed a few people, so you're doing better this one so far.
All right. Now, I see Kat brought him up. I see two names I like a lot. Obviously, I am biased because I am all about the U, and there are two big U names there with Elijah Arroyo, the tight end out of Miami, Damian Martinez, and of course Tyler Barron, the edge rusher. However, Miami needs another corner, and I don't know if I would say this guy's a starting quality corner or not, but I think he's very under the radar, and I think it would be worth the pick. So at 116. At round 4, I'm going to go Kobe Bryant. And if he plays like his namesake, and I doubt that's his namesake, but can you imagine going, interception, he catches an interception, you go, Kobe, interception by Kobe Bryant. I mean, that is a badass name for a player. And I'm going to roll with Kobe Bryant out of Kansas, the corner. I have to do it. Now, ooh. So, here we are. All right. We know Miami has signed Alexander Mattinson. They got Devon Achin, Jalen Wright. But I find it hard to pass on a player like Damian Martinez sitting there from Miami. I like Martinez. I like what he could add to Miami. Mattinson has been cut and signed from so many teams for a reason. I like what he offers Miami, but I like what Damian Martinez could offer for Miami long term. And guess what? The guys from the U usually do pretty damn good when they put on the Dolphins uniform. Olivier Vernon and so forth. So let's go Damian Martinez with this pick. BPA. Shut up, Buffalo. I ain't trading to you. So we're at 150. I don't know why it's moving up. Don't give a damn about the Bears. The Bears. So got a couple more picks here. All right. This thing is jumpy today. All right. This one is a little more easy for me. I'm going to go linebacker Jeffrey Bassa here out of Oregon. Old Fish Tanks, old neck of the woods there. Let's see here. Pissed up. I went D tackle, right? I did. I got Shamir Turner, but I'm going to follow Fish Tank's thing here because I was just looking up into this player yesterday. I got to watch film on him, but I really like what I saw from this kid. 6'5", 291, athletic as hell. Plays fast. Like his numbers. I'm going to go Riley Mills, D tackle out of Notre Dame. I'm going to go with him.
Yeah, out of a big school too. I like.
Yeah.
That means he's had to play against a few players in his college career, so I like that.
Absolutely. Make sure I'm not. Let me see here. Is he gone? He is. Okay. All right. So, looking at what Miami has done so far, with the draft, they've addressed the tackle a couple spots. We got offensive tackle, offensive guard, Jonas Savannah, Kobe Bryant, Nick Amenrari, Damian Martinez, Bassa, however you want to say it, off the board here. 224. I'm going to stick with the 224 on this board, Fish Tank. I am going to make Evan happy, and I'm going to go Jackson Haas.
Scotty said Eichenberg came out of Notre Dame.
It's straight on hate on Eichenberg and anybody that has to do with Notre Dame now or Eichenberg.
Scotty, I can't help Eichenberg. He's just one of those.
So
they keep him coming, and we just keep saying get rid of him, and it's just the way it is.
It is what it is. I'm going to roll here at 231. I see his name on the bottom there. Willie Lampkin out of North Carolina. On film, I love what I saw. Kid plays with heart.
Yeah.
He's always paying attention to what the play is happening. He's quick, instincts, all that whatnot. What kills him for me And what makes it perfect for this spot, because it's a late round pick, is his size. His size is I mean, I think he's 5'11" fish tank, 2 something, and he plays offensive line. So that's gonna kill him in regards of draft boards. But because it's at 231, you could afford this pick. Because what if you get and we just talked Notre Dame, what if you get the next Rudy? What if he comes in the league and balls the hell out? Remember Zach Thomas? They said he was too small. And what did he do? Not saying that will be the case, but this kid plays with heart. So I'm going offensive lineman Willie Lampkin out of North Carolina here.
Wow. All right. I would have taken, you know who I would have taken? The wide receiver, Antoine Wells Jr.
Yeah. I know it.
I told you I like him late, so that's just me.
Now, let's see.
There's another late round pick I like is Nazir Stackhouse.
Yes, I remember you brought him up. Trying to see if any of the names that. And that's one. They've moved so many stuff around, which is cool. I really like that because that means they're updating their stuff. But at the same time, I hate losing on. Who's it? Not him. You know what? I drafted Martinez, so I'm not going ETN here, even though that's not a bad move. I thought Brew McCoy went back. I thought he went back to college. I may be wrong. It was at one point he was really high up boards a few years back, a couple seasons back. You know what? Why the hell not? Let me go. I don't know about Brew McCoy, so I'm going to skip on him. I would take him if I knew for sure what he was doing. But I know where I think I'm going. And I'm going to go with the kid out of Colorado, the wide receiver. And my stupid thing is jumping here, so forgive me, guys. Is it Will Shepard? Yeah, that's him. There it is. I'm going to go Will Shepard, wide receiver, 6'2".
All right.
Bam. That's where I'm rolling. So that's how I wrapped it up, guys. So let me go pick by pick here. Pick 13, I go Nick Amenrari to safety out of South Carolina. At 48, I address the offensive line with Jonas Savanea.
I really like that. I really like that pick. That's one of my favorite picks of yours.
I know you like him a lot. I know you're like
me.
You and I both like him a lot. And again, what I love about it is versatility. And I mean, I know for some people they hate that word, or they hate where that word is used. But I do like what he offers at that spot. And I think Miami loves versatility as well. 98, I went Shamar Turner, D tackle out of Texas A&M. 116, Kobe Bryant, corner out of Kansas. 135, go with the U with Damian Martinez, the running back. I grab a linebacker at 150 with Jeffrey Besa. Go back to defensive line with Riley Mills at a Notre Dame. 224, I'm going to roll with what Evan says. I haven't watched film on him. I did read up on him. I will watch the film, but I'm going to go Jackson Hobbs out of Georgia Tech. What I've read so far is you don't rely on him on a pass catcher. As a pass catcher, but as a blocker, you're getting a monster. At 231, went back to offensive line with offensive guard North Carolina Willie Lampkin, who again, what kills me is the size, but when I watch on film, I see a player with heart and a player that I would love to have on the Dolphins and who I think could maybe own up to the moment. And then 253, I go Will Shepard. I will say I would not ignore QB later in the draft, but I think when Miami going after Zach Wilson, I think that helps alleviate that. But mid rounds, I could see that being played out. There was a player that I was taking an eye to, but I didn't see him, so I just ended up moving past QB at that point. But there you go, guys. Fish Tank Hank and myself. There's our mock drafts for this week. No trades included. Let's go ahead and let me read it up. What some were saying here. OJ2. Oh, Aronde Gasson out of Syracuse. I like him. Scotty says, I'm targeting Xavier Watts at 48, has been for months. Yeah, Xavier Watts, if you don't go safety in round 1, you go corner or any other pick. Xavier Watts at 48 is not a bad move whatsoever, guys. If you haven't yet, go watch him. Don't just look at his numbers. Go watch him on film. casual Dolphin is a player named Kobe Bryant at the Seahawks, I believe. There's Scotty talking about Eichenberg. Yeah, I know. Only if Lampkin was bigger. I know. That's the thing. He is a perfect fit. That's what I'm saying. I like him. I love what I've seen from him. But his size is just where it burns. Shake Money, what is up? Good morning. Shake Money says great first 2 picks. Scotty says, I'm tired of the jack of all trades and master of none on the O-line. We need experts at position, not mediocre, that could play 2 spots. I understand Scotty says that. I disagree with that. When there's so many injuries on the offensive line, you need guys that could play multiple spots.
Yeah.
I don't want to be like, oh God, the guy's injured. Now we got to go look for a guy on free agency somewhere. No, I want a guy who's familiar with our offense, who can be plug and play, and we move forward. Not one guy who's zoned in on one thing. You could afford that for maybe one position or 2 positions, but not the entire offense. I need guys who could play all positions. So Scotty, I know you disagree with me, and I disagree with you on that, but it's all good, brother. It's all love, my man. But anywho,
all lust.
God, I don't know about that. But anywho, man, we're right on the money here.
Love.
Yeah, some man love. But let me do this. Before we wrap this up, talk about someone in our community who's very important to the Dolphins fan community and good friend of mine. Fishing, I believe you met him, Big E, Ian Berger.
Yes.
One of the most kindest and most generous people out there. He is not just a face on social media. Like you think, oh, and then you meet him and you're like, oh, that dude was. No, he is one of the nicest people you could meet. Man, he needs our help. He's going through some stuff right now. He revealed that he is going through stage 4 cirrhosis. And right now it's gotten so bad that because he's been dealing with some medical issues, and he's revealed what he had, and he's in need of a living liver transplant. And I shared the link on social media. So far, he revealed that I think over 50 or 60 people have tried or have registered to see if they're a match, which is awesome. I will say, guys, do me a favor. If you're on social media, wherever you may be, if you have Ian, go to his page, share that link. Even if you can't, even if you're not a match, you're not healthy enough to do it. It's on any share. All shares matter. Just share it. Throw it out there. Hey guys, this guy, nobody should go through something like this, but he is a part of the Dolphins family. What's more important, besides being Dolphins fan of the year, one of the kindest people, does a lot of stuff, does major stuff with the DCC, raising money. Most importantly, he's a father and he's a husband, and he's a damn good one and a damn good human being. So prayers up to him. And please, guys, share. If anything else, at least share that link to see. Maybe just one person sees it, and that one person's a match, and we get to help Big E in that way. So, Fishing, I'm sorry for taking that part of the time, but I also wanted to shout out Ian and what he's going through, and just hope somebody could, everybody watching here, could go ahead and find that link, share it. And if you find it in your heart and you think, you know what, let me try. Yeah, register and see it. Maybe if you're a match, that would be, my goodness, what a miracle that would be. So, yeah. Fins up and prayers up to Ian. So, but Fish Tank, my man.
Yes, sir.
So wrapping this up here, any final thoughts before we wrap this up?
We love you, Big E. That's one thing. We love you. I hope you get better. I hope that somebody comes through for you. You wouldn't want my liver with what I've done to it. So, but you got to put a positive on it. I mean, Big E has been such a big part of the community. He started up the whole fan of the year thing with the Dolphins, and it was just awesome watching him go through that. And back then he had like 4,000 followers and things like that, and now he's astronomical amount of followers now. And it just shows and speaks of what kind of person and his character, especially with his family, and his children. Like you said, he's a great father. And I've never seen him turn anybody away. I've never, like a lot of people like to go and see him. I've never seen him turn anybody away ever.
No, he does not. No, he treats everybody like family. You see him for the first time and big hug, how you doing, and all that whatnot. So shout out to Ian. Our prayers are with you, and hopefully we could find someone who's a match and get you taken care of, because it ain't the same, with you, man. We appreciate you. So, anywho, we wanted to wrap that up with that. I definitely wanted to shout out that everyone who's tuned in and participated. As always, we appreciate you guys. Shake Money, Scotty, Vinstanza for popping in on us before the show. It was great to see you. Cap, appreciate you, brother. Casual Doll fan, as always. Kenna, G, Lyles, RL Lyles, appreciate you. Everyone, we appreciate you all tuning in. I will be back on later. Tati, yeah, well, she's right there. I don't give a shit. No, just fine.
Quiet, you. Nobody asked your opinion.
But I will be back on later this evening, 8 p.m. Eastern time for No Holds Barred Wrestling Podcast with Josh Kimmel. And we'll be on tomorrow at 11 a.m. Eastern for our Miami Dolphins draft show with Wingate and Coach Vogel. Coach Vogel had a game yesterday. I think they're 1-1 now, because when I checked, maybe they came back. But Coach Fish and Coach Vogel is the offense and defensive line coach for the indoor arena football league of the Carolina Cobras. So, he had his debut last week and they won. And then yesterday I went to go check on. They were playing the Lions and they were down 19-0. So hopefully they came back. I don't know, but we'll find out tomorrow. Until then, guys, thank you so much for watching. Bottom of my heart, appreciate it. Like and subscribe. Most importantly, Dolphin fans, as always. Fins up.
Fins up.